especially the second half of this week, um, it's not so much about what you have to say. It's more really about, do you really want to say it?
Mm. Mm.
So we can always say, mean what you say and say what you mean, but you also have to think a lot and consider more carefully before you say anything. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, this week especially. You can see what today was like in terms of the reactivity.
Yes.
And that's going to be triggered for a while. It was especially tricky today for multiple reasons, one of them being that the sun entered sidereal Scorpio today and had interesting connections going on, which basically support this week, if you want to touch base with your deeper self, your higher self, spend more time in meditation, because what is actually happening is the communication has to happen inside. You need to be talking to yourself more than talking to the world this week. That's the reason why the communication aspects, and the social aspects, and even writing and speaking and just, reaching out to people this week is going to be a bit strained. So don't get caught up in that. Just keep it very light. Just know that the message for you this week is to spend more time with yourself, your internal dialogue. And I'll tell you why this is happening. Because we are in a sort of transition phase from the last 2 years or so, where the last kind of 2 years we've been shown actually a new path, a new vision, a new direction in our life. And it's really been about owning that, understanding that, accepting that as a part of who you are becoming. And if you've been watching our videos for the year, this has been an underlying theme that has come up many, many times. So we are coming to a wrap up of that journey. Okay, so it's very important in the next couple of months that you spend more time thinking about where you're going. What you've been shown the direction, it's been made clear to you. You've made some decisions about who you want to be with that choice, with that new vision, with that new journey, with that new direction. And it's now about now look down at the daily things that you do. Look down at from day to day your activities and make sure that they are aligned with that larger purpose. Because what is happening is that there's a lot of excess energy. Absolutely. There's a lot of activity and busyness and excitement and this and that and rapid processing and oh God, which can give you the illusion that things are moving forward. Okay? To maximize that, to not scatter your energy and dissipate it amongst various things that are tickling your mind to do. All right, as much as we all want to get out and jump around and travel the world, I understand that because I'm also feeling it, but prioritize of all those exciting things you want to do and busy this and busy that that's on your plate right now. Be very strict in selecting only those things that are aligned with where you're going.
Yes.
All right? If you are doing that in the next week, in the next month, then your energy levels are going to stay high. Then you're going to find more meaning, because there's no point in having just activity and activity and activity and connection and connection and connection if we are hungry for the meaning still. Okay? So I don't know if you've been feeling that, but that's
Yes.
something that is emerging this month very strongly. It's one of the important things. So make sure you tie the string through all the things you're doing. And if you're maintaining that self-awareness practice every day with yourself, then the chance of you not getting into communication hiccups outside
Yes.
and communication tensions outside, they won't need to happen to push you inside.
I wanted to, comment on that, because specifically when you mentioned the patience and, it definitely, if you working on the inside and you make time for that amongst the busyness, and you kind of like direct the busyness in terms of what is resonating with you or what is flowing with you, it supports the communication, because you just find then that you are more patient, because it's like an internal peace amidst the chaos, and that helps with, I think, the communication being a little bit more patience, and that good old pause.
Yes.
The good old pause and take a breath. And I think if you're internally aligned, it assists you to be in present moment awareness, to be able to pause.
Yes. Look, I never said anything about having fun in anything I said here, right? I never said you like what you're doing or it's the best thing ever. Some people, the journey is going to be different for everyone.
Absolutely.
The direction is different for everyone, okay? The only thing you have to focus on is, given the direction that this is going in right now, and the decisions I have taken in the last 3 months, okay, with this, that have come up in my life, how can I better take ownership of the situation?
Yes.
And get into that space of acceptance and start moving into integration. Because the sooner you do that, the less you're going to feel frazzled and your nervous system is going to be reactive, and emotionally, that's just not a good place to be in, even from a health and mental health point of view.
Because you can create the flow, right? If I'm in acceptance, I can create the flow and I can choose to flow with, as opposed to resist and push back.
Yeah. That's why maintaining that check-in with yourself, not just like, not about my vision board and whatever, it's about me, it's about you, right? Do not, if you don't want to say something, don't say it. It's one of those times, especially this month with the communication, it's on a need-to-know basis. It's, if I feel totally aligned to say this, I'm going to say it because I mean it, because there's a sincerity in this throat chakra that is happening. There's a sincerity with the expression that is happening, because you're welcoming a new way of living happening in your life. And for those of you who are going through a difficult time, or difficult, if this transition is happening in a difficult manner or a more challenging manner, then find the support, find the guidance to help you get integrated. It's not about not doing and stopping this and stopping that, because the bus has left the station by now. The direction is set. And where you end up in 6 months' time depends a lot on now what seeds you're putting inside, what seeds of new behaviors that you are embracing, that you are changing your actions, your habits. Embrace that level of transformation of yourself first in a very positive way, and keep that energy high, because that's going to help you. I'm just checking if there are any comments.
Yes. I think Karen had the question, what if you are not enjoying what you are doing, even if it's temporary? I think we've just addressed that in terms of acceptance and the flow. So is this the theme that we can expect being carried through for the rest of the month, like you said, making time for the internal?
Yes, this is on the communication aspect, especially. This is the one aspect that comes up very strongly. Look, I know people out there will be talking about eclipse this and eclipse that and do, like, as you know, I don't talk jargon. I don't talk shop when I'm doing my astrology. I like to keep it to straight talking and just keep it simple. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect is that for those that are on the side of integration now, okay? For those that are accepting and taking ownership, and now for those that are integrating, because they've accepted, they are where they are, it is what it is, and we are now on the bus. And for those of you who are on that journey this month, you have to express yourself. So it's not about not talking. You can't just be quiet and hide away and do your own and, hide from the world and put your head in the sand and like the life will pass me by and we'll come to better days. And that's not going to happen. I'm being very straight with you. If you want this to change, not only are you on that bus, you also have to start expressing yourself on that journey. Okay, so talk to yourself about what you're doing. Talk to yourself about, okay, next week's in a week from today, I would have improved upon this and this dynamic with myself. It's a very self-focused thing. It's a very self-focused thing. It's a very inside-outside process right now.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the second message. So. Channel your inner Madonna or whatever, whoever it is for you. But that is one thing that is very strong this time, is for those that are on the path of integration, you're on the journey, you're on the bus, start speaking, start expressing, while still maintaining the integrity of your communication to yourself first. Okay? To yourself first. And depending on the situation you're in, that's going to be easier to do or not easier to do. But the important thing is that you persevere in that, because who you are becoming is worth fighting for, is worth maintaining that integrity for. And you need to see that new self, and others need to see that new self that is emerging this year. It's been a long journey this whole year of becoming this, I'm moving towards this, I'm being pushed towards this, in whatever way that has happened. So just sort of keep that. People may not mean what they say out there. When I was contemplating for this the session, one of the songs that came to my mind was Honesty by Billy Joel. And in that song, he sort of talks about how honesty is a precious commodity. And that was for me, it was back in the day. I don't know about you. Yes. And look at what's happened with the world today. We feel that very keenly because the external world through social media has come into our personal space. And for various reasons, people are hiding behind, avatars, this and lipstick, that and things. And honesty of expression is becoming a very important commodity in our lives. And if you can maintain that with yourself this month, there's a prayer in Sanskrit, Vang me manasi pratishtita, mano me vāci pratishtitam. It means, may my words be aligned, established in my thinking, in my thoughts. And may my thoughts mirror what I'm speaking. Because speaking is manifestation. Speaking is creation itself. And so if you can keep that sort of vision, I'm expressing it that way, as let my thoughts align with my words. It's a very simple translation of that, but I think it holds true and vice versa. So think about this, because it focuses your emotional, your vital energy. And that's something that you need to protect this month, because it's a very precious thing that is going to be used just for your transformative process.
And the truth And the truth has come up so many times. I'm thinking of that principle, as within, so without. So if in its simplest form, our basis is truth to me, truth to you, then I think that's such a good foundation to build your words and your actions on. Truth to me, truth to you. Because
even
truth
if you have
also needs a discernment, whether do I need to say this now? What is my truth? Am I saying it just to say it, or am I really speaking it?
It's both on the content, so do I want to say this or not, but also the question arises in, do I want to say that this way or this way?
Yes.
Right? It's also in the how. It's also in the how. So yes, so keep that in mind this month. So those are the two main things this month. For those that are coming into ownership and acceptance of the journey, the direction that is being shown, and for those that are now on that journey and just maintaining their vital energy without losing the focus is important.
And I can't, emphasize enough how connection and meditation and introspection supports you on this. It really, really does. Make time for the quiet times, for the inner room, for the inner work. Because then the truth doesn't become an issue. Because the spirit of discernment guides you.
It's sometimes people get caught up in social connections and they feel they have to communicate and express themselves almost robotically. Yes. And then they're getting lost in that emptiness of communication, simply because their heart is not really in it, And the question then, like I said, the meaning, you're looking for the meaning. Right now, this month, you are establishing the meaning for what you're doing going forward. So looking for inspiration outside, looking for meaning through other people, and talking is not going to do it this month. I'm sorry, it's not. Okay? You have to find inspiration with what life is showing you and get connected to what is happening inside you. That is inspirational in itself. That meaning is so beautiful and so big. And even if it is challenging, even if it is a challenging experience on the outside, you are becoming stronger for it. Okay? Boundaries are being affirmed. Today was a very strong lesson in confirming boundaries for most people out there. Right? And notice how your reactivity was emotional. Right? That's a signal that the energy is changing. So these are the two things I just wanted to.
And I want to also encourage everybody to listen to the full moon guidance video as well that's coming. That will go a little bit more in depth into a little bit of more practical tools and guidance, just going a little bit more into detail in this energy. So it is on Nāthan's page, Speaker Astrology. It will also be on my page and also Speaker Astrology YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe, because then
that's coming out on the 18th of November.
The 18th, yes. So it's in 2 days. So subscribe so that you can, the more we gain the knowledge and the more we align and we connect with these things, the stronger our foundation will be in truth. So we're also going to go to the comments now. And if you have questions, please ask. If you would like to receive a message, please ask. We will watch the comments. Just interestingly enough, in the beginning, when you started with what's important, the first card was writers group, and the second one was share your art with the world, Archangel Gabriel. Now, Archangel Gabriel assists us with truth and purity and purpose as well. And the one, it's so significant of the two messages, because the one is writing, you know, that internal
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Write it out if you have to. Write it out if you have to. And then the other one is, and then you share it, like you said. It's important once you know to share it, to speak out what you want. How amazing is that?
Very much aligned. For those of you who have a lot of writing to do or speaking to do, it's an inside-outside process.
Beautiful. Will that refer to, perhaps maybe now is the time to start that blog or to start that manuscript or to edit it?
As long as it is in that mode of inside, sincerity, integrity, outside expression. If it's happening because you're being tickled by something, I want to do that, and I feel like I must do this, and I had this idea, then if it's in that scattered mode, then it's going to not really help much. Besides wasting your time.
Yeah, must have that energy of, this is me, this is the truth.
Yes. You know that song by Katy Perry, Raw, that came out in 2012, 2013-ish? Yes, it's like that. You have to keep that every day, every morning.
Perfect. So I see we've got people asking for a message. Do you want to give us just an intention? What is your message about? What is your question? That will really help Nāthan to give you some guidance if we have a little bit more specifics. If you just want a card, you can say that. But if you do have a specific intention or a question, then that works better, doesn't it?
Yeah, so if you just want a message, then Michelle's going to give you a card. If you have a question, then I'll see what the stars say.
Okay, so Meryl says a message would be so appreciated. Meryl joined right in the beginning. I don't know if you want to add to that or have a comment in relation to that. I think Meryl also mentioned something about she actually accidentally deleted a thread. Where is it? I deleted a few very important WhatsApp threads by mistake. Could that be in relation to the message? Do you have a message for Meryl?
I don't think it's a mistake, really. I think you just need more space in the communication side of things. And maybe the question then is, do I need to be communicating? Do I want to be communicating? How do I want to do that? Maybe you need to clarify those questions first, because sometimes things happen in the external world because it's trying to point out something, So if you look at it from that point of view, then that's how I would sort of take it.
Meryl also commented and said, my intention is around opening up further to source or higher self being, get lots of chatter. And it's interesting that the card for you, Meryl, was daily practice. And this message is specifically saying practice makes perfect. Be comfortable, be confident. So I would suggest that the more you have the connection with source, the more you say, you're connecting with the higher frequency, be patient and still, and just consistently show up every day in that truthful energy. And eventually the chatter will stop. It definitely will.
Yeah. Meryl, I think what would really be good also is you spend some time meditating on what you want to say or what your conclusion is from what has happened, maybe at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, and using like a pen or a crystal or something, write it on water, write it into the water. That practice will really help to bring out the message a bit stronger for you. It's a technique in hydromancy that will help you.
Yes, yes. And then just the King of Raphael. Again, it's the same. Look at the water. You just spoke
Yes.
about the water, and it's the King of Raphael, and trusting yourself and moving with the creative side of things. But do show up daily. Make it a daily practice in that flow, in that truth. Carol says, I've been confused and a little emotional lately and feel like I've been placed on a clay foundation. Her birthday is the 5th of August, 1957, and she feels a little bit insecure.
Okay, so there wasn't really a question there, but I suppose what I can say is I think you need to stand out amongst the group of people you're associating with, because you're not standing up and allowing yourself to be seen. Maybe you're trying to tiptoe around people a bit too much, even in your living space, in your home space. You need to have your own thing going on. And that will help you realign to more purpose and meaning in your engagement, just with life, feeling more connected as well. So it's not really a time for relying on others to welcome and open their hands, because everyone's busy right now with this transition that the world is going through. So do your own thing, make your own time for yourself, do something by yourself for yourself, and that will put you back on new ground. But I can really see that your friends or your social network, just spend some time away from that for a while, and then go back into that with a new purpose, a new image. And those of your friends or people in your social circle, even your home space, whether they like it or not, this is who you are. So go into that with a bit more courage.
Carol, as Nāthan was speaking, I'm reminded of your master's journey that you did, and I'm reminded of that beautiful picture of you glowing in the flowers, and that is who you are. So just be that spirited, that spirited energy, because that is who you are. And you've also received the message, stay true to yourself. And this is such an encouragement to don't compromise or water down your ideas. Listen to, trust, and follow your inner voice. And so you almost want to take the confusion and the emotion and say, I'm standing up. This is me. And I don't need the validation from the outside. It's from the inside out, as you explained. And then you receive the 3 of Gabriel, which is about prosperity, and it's about a new adventure or optimistic plans. So both of them indicating for you to get out there and just shine your light.
Was this Carol? Yes, I think you're on a larger journey of getting a little bit more income for yourself. So I think that is part of what is the issue, that maybe that's not happening enough because you're being too small. So open it up.
And it does say these optimistic plans that turn out well. So trust, you've got to trust for you. Okay, Meryl says that's exactly what's happening, waking up. Karen, I would love a message. I feel as though a contract I've taken on is pulling me away from my business, but the money from the contract is really helping short term. A bit confused. I would love a message. So the question is around the contract, and should she continue with the contract?
So what I can see is that the contract is a bit of an uncomfortable feeling. Maybe some people were not very honest or open about some of the processes and some of the work scope that is there, and maybe even on the personnel side of things, who you're working with, maybe not feeling that sense of, oh, this was not what I thought, and you having to basically protect yourself in that situation, and that's the root of the uneasiness with it. So from a personal point of view, it's about protecting your vital energies and making sure the boundaries are made very clear in the beginning. You don't want to let things slide, and you don't want to be in a position where you say things like, oh, well, it'll work out if I just be quiet, or, you know, I trust it will happen. You have to say it. You have to mean it when you say it, okay, in the beginning. So if you are open up front, then a lot of these things can be avoided. Yeah.
And the message here is also retreat. So you have to come on the retreat. But apart from that, when we receive the retreat message, it's go inside, block out distractions, spend some time and really focus on what the truth of the matter is. And then you've got the editor, which says then you have to edit, you have to speak your truth, you have to edit perhaps where you need to edit so that there is mutual energy, mutual agreement here. Does that make sense, Karen? Jeremio says, I've been having a very difficult time at work in radio broadcasting, contemplating whether or not I should stay or resign. Can I please receive a message that could help me make my decision? 11th of July, 1988.
So the question was about staying in the
radio broadcasting industry. Rather a difficult time at work, which explains the communication, doesn't
right.
it?
Yes, yeah, it does.
Is
On
it
a whole different level.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his question was about should he stay or should he go, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Jeremio, I think, you know, where are we now? We are in November. So by middle of December, there can be an opportunity, even slightly before that. Around the 20th of December or so, around that time, there can be some opportunity if you stay where you are and stick it out a little bit longer. There will be some opportunity that comes through that situation. In that job, in that work, someone that you meet there may give you a new idea, a new way of doing things, an opportunity for learning, an opportunity even maybe for travel that may be linked to what you want to do. And that may be an opportunity for you. It would still require you to make a bit of a compromise and adjustment, but it would be good in the long run because something about that project or that opportunity, the initial phases of it are coming up for you around the 20th, the last week before Christmas, basically. And so that's going to set in motion new aspirations in the new year that come. But take it, talk to the people, embrace it. There will be adjustments and you got to adapt a little bit, okay? But it will be better in the long run for you. You actually, by a process of not feeling comfortable and making that squeeze adjustment, you are actually growing quite a lot, and it's setting you up in a better way for the changes that are coming with work and things like that, and also studies if you're in studies next year, and travel is indicated there.
And in alignment with that, you've received the message that blocks are lifted. So it is definitely moving you into the direction. It says that your previous obstacles came from fear, but they're now being lifted away. So if you can just work with this and work with the fear to turn it into this truthful energy and this growing soul-fulfilling energy, it will move you forward.
Yeah, I'm getting very strongly to just let go of control on your side. Yes. There's too much controlling, too many fingers in the pie, and you're going a bit loopy. because of that. And other people that you're working with are seeing that as you're not ready. They are seeing that as you're a bit of an eggshell, kind of emotional reactive person to be around. And so just alleviate that sense of control. It's coming from a perception of insecurity because you're trying to prove yourself to yourself, but maybe a bit too much. So be a bit more kind to yourself. It's a process, things take time, and sometimes we have to play the game. So go with that idea forward.
Yeah, don't leave too quickly. There might be some beautiful learnings and blessings coming from this. I just want to change Wi-Fi modems. Okay. So I'm just going to here go to the Wi-Fi because I see that I'm running out. So it is on Wi-Fi. I'm just gonna if I do lose connection, Nāthan, then you carry on.
I think you're here. You're back already.
I'm back already. Good. Carol Ann says, hi, Michelle, can I have a message? I just want to know if this is the time for me to resign my Toastmasters Club membership now, or should I wait 2 or 3 or even 7 months' time? Carol Ann, and the question is with regards to Toastmasters Club membership and whether she should resign from it.
You know, you need to also tell me, like, why can't you resign tomorrow? You know, so what is the issue? You know, what is preventing you? You know, it's like asking me, should I go to the park? And you're like, well, go to the park. You want to go. What is the issue, Carol? So just give me a sense of that.
I think, Carol, that comment in itself is your answer. I'm smiling, Nāthan, because we had a session about that.
My answer is yes, you should move on. But in terms of the timing of it, I would need more information as to why you asked the question. But generally, overall, I can see that you really, it's run its course, really. It's really run its course. You're like the old man or the old woman at the club now. You know, that kind of vibe is there, has set in. And it's time to do something that is more appropriate to your level of enjoyment now has changed. The level of your hobby, your nature of having fun has changed in the last 6 months. So you want to now engage with new things and new group involvements and new social situations that are at a new level. Like Michelle says, you've gotten an upgrade. You just got to turn the switch on. So sometimes we have to know how to close things and end things in life appropriately. And it's one of those times. It's one of those times for you.
Yes. What is so in alignment, Carol Ann, is that your message was authenticity. And she mentioned she's feeling guilt and letting people down, but you have to be authentic to yourself. And this specific message says that you have to trust your real self. Like you were created divinely perfect. You've got all of the strength, all of the knowledge, all of the truth to be able to make decisions that serve you and to be able to have the courage to walk away from that which doesn't serve you. That's your birthright. That's your divine purpose. And it's calling you to stand up in that. And it's so in alignment with the theme, the message of this month, as within, so without, that you spoke about in the beginning. It's really, really that time, isn't it?
It really, it's actually like 10 weeks over that time.
Yes.
2 months, you know, you're dragging it too long now. Just let it go. Yeah.
Okay, I think we've got time for one more question. And then our time is up and we can just do a general card for everybody at the end. Tulai says she has a colleague who is always picking up on me, giving me a hard time. No matter how kind and love I show her, what should I focus on? Love. Love is my answer. What say you?
what I say is that actually I feel like they're like maybe November, August. In August, there may have been an altercation or a sort of decision point about this that happened with this person, a work situation, sort of a joint energy situation that didn't go so well. Somebody wants to move ahead, the other person wants to not change anything. And that's part of the reason for the conflict here, is that there's a different way of thinking, really, between the two of you. Both of you all think stability means very different things, and taking action means very different things to both of you. And so there's a misalignment of both the head as well as the hand coming here. So really, the emotions between you all are going to flare up, because that's the heart is the only one screaming there, and having to bear the brunt of everything. And I think that's a bit too toxic for what it's worth. I don't think even if you try to work with the person, there would be much of a progress there. You can try to slog it out for this year if you have to. But I think, especially in the next couple of days, you're going to have to really practice patience and swallowing your words, practicing what we said here about really meaning what you say and deciding whether you want to say it and how you want to say it. And I would suggest that you keep your self-dignity first and foremost. You don't need to have an outburst. You can have an outburst later, go to a gym and do some punching bag exercises or something. But in the situation, they do not need to have the pleasure of having that reaction from you. Nor do you want to compromise your own energies by opening up that vulnerability point. So again, the message about protecting one's own vital energy is very appropriate for you in that situation. And I think that in the next few days and in about a month from now, you're going to have an opportunity to make this decision known to the person. And so you've got to stand in your strength and align with courage in this, and just keep a mirror up, keep a mirror up. Yeah.
And I'm also receiving, that detachment from the outcome. When we send love, or we listen to love, or we reflect love, it does not necessarily mean that the other person will accept it, or we now hug and kiss and make up. This is a divine love. So I can send love to you. I can stand in my truth and my power, send you love. That is it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, I release you, and I carry on with my work. But then I have resolved the conflict. Look what you got. Listen only to love. And as you practice this and as you do this, when the time comes that Nāthan spoke about, then you will feel empowered. You won't feel inferior or belittled, because you've worked with divine love. It says, don't allow fear to distract you from your divine mission. Detach, that's there, you here, stand in love, stand in light, do your thing, do your truth. And don't necessarily have the expectation of this person coming to you and it all being loving. We don't know that, because we don't have the outcome of other people's choices and decisions that they make. Your truth, your light.
Yes. I think what is the trap here is that because there's work to be done with both of you all together, you are playing along because you want the outcome to be good. Yes. And you need to detach from that. Whatever the work result will be what the work result is. And people will deal with that when it comes out. Okay? So just disconnect from that. Oh, because I want the outcome to be this, so that's why I got to do this my way. I got to be a certain way. No. You can detach. The outcome will be what the outcome will be. Okay? But you got to keep your integrity. It's very important, actually.
Yes. Oh, she said, thank God I decided to pause till end of the month. So she's on leave until the end of the month. So she's got a bit of break from that energy. That's a good decision. So spend time with, you know, building up your spirit, doing things that you love.
There's a friend that's going to help you. Someone that's a woman that's a bit older than you. There's a friend there, you know, she's done this journey of the warrior goddess thing, you know, so in her own life. So she will be able to help you if you need to align more.
Beautiful. So thank you. Are there any last words, or do you want to go through the comments if there's any one person that still pops up for you? And then any last words or reminders for us as to how we can keep our spirits high.
I'm just going through the messages. I think we answered everyone that did ask for one.
Yeah, most of them we did, yes.
I don't see anything new.
No.
Yeah, so, you know, everyone that asked questions and everyone who didn't, okay, go back to the beginning of the message of the video, just re-watch those messages and guidance for the month ahead and for this week, you know, especially, because the second half of this week is going to be practice, okay? It's going to be good practice, so be prepared. You got this.
Beautiful. And then we've just got the wheel, which is pretty much the wheel of change, the wheel now starting to move. You said the bus is leaving, the bus is left already, or the train has left the station. So it's really the end of delays. And if you work with this connection and with your truth, then these changes will bring opportunities for happiness. Such a beautiful, and Archangel Jeremiel is also the strategist. So he can assist you with what works, what doesn't work. Pause here, pause. You don't have to make a decision immediately. Take your time if you have to, but make sure that the internal discernment is sorted and in your truth. And then some encouragement from Archangel Gabriel to stay determined and stay focused. This is the work that comes that you spoke about. And I love this one, the celebration. This means you've worked hard. There's time for celebration. Perhaps go out and play a little bit, but release yourself from burdensome situations. And I think now is the time to do that. Or it has been the time to do that for a while now. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this live, for your insight and guidance. It's always lovely to connect with you on these lives. And for everybody that's tuned in, we're doing this once a month.
Yes, and don't forget that my consultations are 20% off this month. So if you want a reading for your year ahead, you know, we come to the end of the year now, or just as a summary of your journey for this year, and how to put your best foot forward, we can talk about that, or anything else really.
Awesome. So the angels and stars. So if you enjoy the combination that you're experiencing this evening, we also have the combo reading. So you can have a one-on-one session, angels and stars session with us both.
With both of us in the session, yes. Imagine.
Yeah, and that's a whole lot of fun, a whole lot of guidance, double the trouble. So however it resonates with you, but don't feel that you're alone. There are mentors, there are guidance, there are support for you. So tune in, stay connected.